3, 2, 1.
What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital.
Dan's not here. It's Brett, also known as Crypto Ohio. Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Let's take a look and see what Dan does have to say today. Remember, Litecoin fam, hold strong.
That is true. That is not me. That was Brad, part of the Litecoin fam. Thank you, Brad. That was an awesome intro. And that shirt looks good, man. I've been having some trouble with that shirt with the printer, and it's actually not on the website right now. And some of you actually ordered it and it got canceled. So I'm not sure. I have to look into that, but I like that shirt. It's looking nice. Thanks for the intro, dude. We have a lot going on, and this video might be just a little bit longer, nothing crazy, but I want to cover just a couple things. First of all, what happened today with the Litecoin Summit. And second of all, I want to kind of get a little bit in depth into Litecoin, Bitcoin, the markets. So let's just start. I tweeted earlier, you may have seen my video earlier I did about this Litecoin Summit website, and I tweeted, new video, Litecoin Summit, is this real? Charlie Lee, do you have anything to do with this? And Charlie Lee gave a winky face around 5 hours later. Everybody was in anticipation, waiting at the edge of their seats to see if this was real. This was fun. This was kind of orchestrated. It was kind of planned. We wanted to put a little bit of a teaser out there. And I just want to say something. There are so many people behind the scenes that you would have no idea are behind the scenes, selflessly, humbly, working, volunteering for the Litecoin Foundation to make things like this happen. For instance, this conference, this Litecoin conference. We have the single most coolest community in Litecoin. And I just wanted to put that out there. I'm extremely grateful for some of the people I've gotten the opportunity to meet. And I hope it can be encouraging to you to know that behind the scenes right now are people that are serving the mission of Litecoin. And they're doing it selflessly. They're not self-serving. And I think it's extremely important just to highlight that. And I want to point that out to everybody. So if you haven't seen that teaser video that I did, and you know, I went over this website, litecoinsummit.org. I'll put the link in the description. You can check it out. It's going to be awesome. I hope you all can make it. I would love to meet many of you, and we should have a booth over there at the Litecoin Summit. Crypto Capital Venture should have a booth, and it'll just be awesome just to hang out with all of you, meet some of you, and just have some fun. So let's look at what's going on right now. Litecoin trading at 115, Bitcoin trading at, you know, around 6,900. I want to talk about something because we're at like an extremely important time right now in terms of charts and technical analysis and all of this stuff that we've been tracking, and really the upward movement over the last, you know, few years in the market. So right now I have the Bitcoin, I have a logarithmic chart open so that we can look at it, but Bitcoin, going back to really when the bear market began, right at the end of 2013, you see it here. And I just want to point out let's start here, when the market started to recover right around here, I have this bar open, which shows the length of time. Because we always talk about how often do we see these 70% drops, and we always recover. It's really a rebuttal to Bitcoin's failing. And it's true. We can look at, since we recovered, really, every time we've taken a dip, like right here, it's around 35 days, a little bit less than maybe 30 days or so, right here. Dip, recover. Same here, dip, around 35 days. Right here, dip, but we got 70 days. Okay, and then we can continue on, dip, probably around 30 days. So, and it continues around 35 to 40 days right here, around 30 some days right here. So you get the gist. It's around 30, 40 days on average since we recovered out of that bear market, these dips, and we recovered. Now, I have to point this out because it's important. The length of time that we're really correcting plays a good part in the story of Bitcoin and Litecoin, which is, since we had our all-time highs, we're going on, you know, over 100 days now. So I guess the question is, when does this area go from just being a typical dip that we're all used to being something more like this bear market that we entered back in 2013? And you can see it. If I can get this, let me just delete this and do a new one. So if I can say from the top here, 2013, there's 154 days. We're not even there yet. There's 427 days, close to the bottom. And I guess my point is this. With where we are now, we're at an extremely critical point, because if this turns into a longer term downtrend, this momentum could turn into something like this. And I don't think it would last 2 years. However, if we don't get that quick correction that we're all hoping for soon, or I'm sorry, you know, a retracement back up is what I'm talking about. If we don't get that soon, we're gonna have issues. So what would that look like? I wanna use Litecoin just as an example. I have a bunch of charts open for Litecoin. And here's the weekly. Right now, last time we were this oversold, we went over this. It was right before we took off in November. And we're there. I mean, we're here right now. We've been oversold for a while now on the weekly. We're so oversold right now. And if we don't start seeing some momentum back up, we might have an issue where this is going to be a longer term thing. And the context of these videos is going to completely change. My camera battery is blinking, so I'm probably gonna have to pause and get my GoPro because I came ill prepared to this video. So let's go to the daily. So the daily right now is a very telling picture. It's a telling picture because, first of all, we broke this triangle and we've been tracking it for so long. And this really is, tracking this was really helping us just keep an eye on Litecoin and hoping, making sure that this was just a typical short-term correction for another bounce. But now what's starting to happen, and this triangle breaking at the bottom here is helping us see this, is this bounce that we were hoping for is starting to prove false and weak. We've broken this trend and this continuation pattern that we hoped to see. And right now what I see on the 4 hour, and this is kind of what I want to talk about, is since we did break this area, let me get my brush. We broke this area. We broke the bottom of the triangle, the support area. Since that happened, you've seen us kind of bounce around here, and we haven't made that breakthrough back to that resistance that was previous support. So bottom of the triangle here, support, bounced off. But here we broke through. And so what that means is this red box that we see is just such an important part right now of what is potentially going to happen in the short term to long term area, I think. I could be wrong, but this is what I think. And I say that because if you notice, when we bounced off at the bottom of this triangle previously, we also bounced off 100. It was right at $100 when we dipped down. It was a nice bounce off of 100, and then we went back up 70%. It was insane. But now what's happening is we broke the bottom of the triangle here, and our next area of support is the 100 area. And if you can see, the 100 area once was an area of resistance back before we broke out. So we finally did break out, and once we broke out, it became an area of support, which it held there. And if we don't hold here, and this is really what we're watching now, is holding this 100. If we don't hold here, we're gonna go from this hopeful continuation pattern and this long-term bull trend to this continuation pattern. This symmetrical triangle is broken, and we're gonna go into a whole new area. Let me open this chart up a little bit. And we're going to be telling a whole new story, which is this type of story right here. We're going to be in this downward channel of lower highs and lower lows. Up until now, it's kind of been this lower highs and higher lows, creating the symmetrical triangle, some consolidation. Since we've been in a long-term bullish trend, we would take that as just a consolidation and a correction pattern, and that's fine. But if we break that, the continuation pattern, and we fall into this lower highs and lower lows, then we're going to be, these videos are going to be nothing but trying to break previous areas of support that are now resistance, like this 100. We might be doing videos of bouncing off of this line at 70 and hoping we can make a run and go through 100. It's going to be completely different context for these videos. So right now is this area, this week, next week is so important for us as we trade, and this chart is extremely messy right now, but as we trade in this pattern, in this channel right here, this red channel between the 128 and the 100, it's going to be so telling what happens next. Because I'm going to go to the daily because it's not as messy. But if we can somehow break back up above this now resistance line, if we can break up through that, that means we wouldn't have hit this low right here, and we'd still have a higher low found there. And that would definitely be a good sign. So bullish wise, I mean, that's what we have to see. We have to wait and see if that happens. But other than that, we can only keep an eye on the channel that we're in right now and just see what happens. The market is so manipulated right now. It's crazy. So that's it. That's what we're watching. The only thing that we can do is relax, take a deep breath, take your fiat if you would like, get ready for buys. The 100, 110, if it falls to 110, there's an extreme amount of support right there. So I'm not sitting here saying I think we're going to break 100. I'm just giving you a bearish outlook that the tone of these videos would change, because we'd be talking about not so much a breakout from this correction, but can we get out of this correction so that it's not a long-term bear market. But right now you can see on GDAX 110 at $110 down to 110. There's a good amount of buy areas, buy orders, and 60,000 right here on GDAX alone down to 100. So that's that. Wanted to I told you it was going to be a little bit longer. This is probably a little bit longer of a video, but I wanted to kind of break that down for you. And that's it. That's where we are right now. Follow me on Twitter if you're not. I try and keep it light over there. There's a lot of conversations going on over there to take part in. People typically in the Litecoin fam, the Litecoin community, they just seem to be a laid back bunch, encourage each other for the most part. And this is just, this time that we're in, this downtrend. And it's crazy. Over 100 days so far, we've been tracking this. We've been in it together. And I love that. So we'll get out of it. So bullish right now on Litecoin. It's so tempting not to just keep buying because it's so cheap right now long term. It's crazy, in my opinion. This is not financial advice, but I'm going to go before this battery goes. And I appreciate you. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Would love to have you as part of the channel. As always, I will see you in the next video, and God bless.